Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
Today we're taking a look at these Storm Collectibles Baki Hanma from the Baki Hanma animated show.
Liar!
Okay, I'm kind of kidding. This is a bootleg, a KO that I found on Amazon last week. But it was a pretty darn good deal. This guy was like $20 or $22 or something. And I got to tell you, in a lot of ways, it's money well spent. This is actually a good-looking figure in most ways, and in some ways, he's a little wonky and weird, but we'll get into all that here in a minute. Let's check out his package really quick, because it is, I'm going to guess, is trying to be a one-for-one of the Storm Collectibles Baki Hanma figure, the official one. It just looks a lot cheaper. It's very glossy looking and kind of dim, but it does have a decent window. It even says Storm Collectibles down here, but it's kind of fuzzy. If you were looking at it in person, like the wording would be kind of fuzzy. It's got an interesting picture of Baki right there. And on the back is very dim and fuzzy images, which I'm going to assume for this version of Baki came on the actual like licensed packaging. But anyway, let's see how tall he is really quick, because I know that bootleg, slash KO figures sometimes like to be just a touch smaller than the actual real official figure. This guy stands not quite 6 3/4 inches to the top of his hair, which would make the figure right at 17 centimeters. But let's stand him next to some of the official Storm Collectibles figures and see how he measures up. And first up, I've got him next to the official real deal Storm Collectibles Baki Hanma, that new one that came out earlier this year. And my prediction was correct. He is just ever so slightly smaller than the real Baki. His shoulders just aren't quite as wide, and the hair and everything just isn't quite as big. But I gotta tell you, on his own, he looks really good. But then when you put him next to the official stuff, just the finishes and the plastics look a lot better, and so do the joints, but we'll get into that here in just a minute. And really quick, I wanted to stand him next to some of the other official Storm stuff that I have. I've got him back there with Doppo Orochi. That is a really good looking figure. And the real deal Yujiro Hanma, the battle damage one. And that guy looks awesome. And I've even got him next to the Storm Arena Yujiro. And he's actually taller than that one. This Baki right here is really the height that I think everybody wanted that Storm Arena Yujiro to be. But anyway, I digress. Now for accessories, he comes with an okay amount of stuff, particularly for 20 bucks. I don't know if this is one for one with what the official Storm Collectibles came with, but he does come with 4 different head sculpts. He comes with this head sculpt right here on him, which is just kind of a neutral face on him in the package, and it looks pretty good. The hair and stuff's got some shading. It looks pretty good. He's also got 3 other head sculpts. He's got kind of a teeth gritting head sculpt right here that looks pretty decent, and he's got like a smiling head sculpt right here that doesn't look too bad. And he's got this open mouth kind of whatever face that is. It's not done really well as far as the paint on the inside of the mouth, but it is a cool little expression. He also comes with 10 different hands, 2 fist hands on him in the package, and then 8 other, open style pose hands that are nothing new that we haven't seen before. Anyways, for 20 bucks, I'll take that spread. Now for aesthetic, that is kind of where this figure stands out a little bit. This figure does look pretty good in hand. He has a matte finish on him for like the most part. I mean, there's a couple of places, like in the elbow joints and on the back of the knee joints where obviously they didn't coat it, but this figure doesn't look too bad. Lots of paint on it, plenty of shading. The scars and stuff are painted in pretty good. The faces, at least except for that one that made him kind of look like an inbred kid or something, the faces all look pretty good. The hair has some nice dry brush on it. The people that were KO in this figure, for the most part, did a pretty good job. Now, like most KOs, his joints are jacked up. Like this shoulder joint right here is just sticking out and looks really weird, but we'll get more into how weird it is in the aesthetic, or in the articulation, excuse me. His waist joint sits really weird on his hips. He just wasn't assembled really well, and this one leg kind of pokes out a little further than the other one. I don't know if I could fix it. Probably not. So it makes one leg seem a little longer than the other, and his feet just look just slightly off, like a lot of KO figures do. But like, it's really weird. In the same hand, he's not bad either. Like this chest piece right here, this is soft. No, it's not as soft as like a Storm Collectibles figure soft, but it is soft and movable, and he does move around well, like you'll see here in a minute. He's got the cloth shorts right here that do cover up that big old caked up Baki booty right there.
Why are you gay?
But the figure's just assembled weird because it's, you know, obviously it's a fake. So that kind of screws with his aesthetic. But Baki is such a fantastic sculpt that even at that, it still in certain ways looks pretty good. If you missed out on this particular version of Baki when it was out and definitely don't want to shell out, you know, around $200 to get the real one, $20 for like a shelf filler, this wouldn't be bad for you. Now for his articulation, that's where this figure definitely falls short, and you know that it's a bootleg, but it moves decent, oddly enough, all at the same time. Where I said this is soft, it is, but it is not nearly as soft as Storm material, so the neck doesn't really move around with you, even though he does have that kind of longer ball peg in the neck down into the torso. He does have that, and I got a first-hand look at that trying to pop this head off. It actually pulled the entire double ball peg out of him, which is why I didn't actually like do pictures of the different heads on the body, because it just pulls the entire neck joint out. But that is in there, so you know, I mean, his head still moves around pretty good. It's just you're not going to get any neck movement out of it as well like you would a Storm Collectibles figure. His shoulders will go out above 90, but they've got this really wonky looking shoulder joint right there. If you see that, that looks really weird. You can get a full 360 with no problem. And like I pointed out in the aesthetic, the butterflies, they don't really work at all. I mean, minimal wiggle. You might as well just not even count it. But, you know, you're not buying a KO to be 100% on the money. Bicep swivel's pretty good. Double jointed elbow, no worse than the Baki figure was, so that's not bad. And it, I mean, different kind of colored plastic, like I pointed out, it's a KO joint, but it doesn't look too terrible. And the wrists are on ball hinges, and they, you know, get your rotation, and they move around just fine. His abdominal break, if you can get it to set squarely on there, because like I said, they're poorly assembled, you do get a little bit of crunch out of it. That works not too bad at all. He'll lean back just a little bit on it, and you do get tilt and twist, so that's pretty good. Down here, it is, instead of just a single ball peg, it is a double ball peg that is really oddly assembled, so you can get some twist and a little bit of lean, but not too much, because when you swivel it around, it shifts it. If I'm showing you, and there what it's sitting on the pelvis, it shifts around and doesn't stay completely lined up, and it just makes the torso look really like zigzaggy. I don't really know how else to explain it. Hips, a decent amount of range in the legs as far as the split, not as good as the real deal, but that's actually not too terrible, and they move pretty smoothly. The front kick is above the waist, so that's pretty good. Can't complain there. And where this is, again, like the chest piece, the groin diaper area is soft, but not as soft as a Storm Collectibles. But the leg will kick back, even though he's caked up to all get out. Thigh swivel, it works pretty good. Double jointed knee, that's way past 90, and the proportions are off just like they should be because of that long lower leg that the Baki Hanma anime has. Knee joint, actually, for a $20 figure, doesn't look too terrible. Down here, the ankle is a hinge. It's not a ball hinge. It's just a hinge right there, but tons of down, little bit of up. He does have an ankle rocker. No peg holes in the bottoms of the feet. Does have a toe hinge. I don't like 99.9% of toe hinges, but he does have one. Overall, for a wonky ass kind of KO figure, he surprisingly moves well and holds together really well. Okay, final thoughts on the KO Storm Collectibles Baki Hanma figure. Like I said, it's kind of a double-edged sword because it looks really good when you look at it until you start getting really close. It's like, oh, okay, this thing is definitely a KO. Little gappy, and the joints are poorly assembled. Moves better than I thought it would. The accessories are crappy, but this is supposed to be a 1-for-1, so maybe that's what all the Storm one came with. I don't know. I don't own that figure. For a KO, this ain't too shabby at $22. to look pretty good. It's got paint on it and it moves pretty well and stays together. For a bootleg, I'll give this a B for sure. If you missed out on the original release of this from the licensed release and you want this particular version of him to fill a spot, $20, buy the darn thing. I don't, you're not going to be all tore up about it. I am going to be selling my version of this because I bought it simply to look at it and maybe do a video on it. But I'll be selling it. I'm going to sell mine for $20 on eBay. Keep an eye out here in the next week or so. It'll be up. But anyways, I am actually getting ready to do right after this the Yujiro Hanma bootleg. So keep an eye out for that video. And with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.